Hey guys, quick message. So, before this starts, this series is going to be split into 4 parts because otherwise it's going to be like a half hour long or more. So, this is starting for part 1. Thank you guys, keep watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the video too. Thank you. Mwah. Leave a comment. Bye bye.
I fear that Beowulf has been detained.
Siegfried, the wisest of my counselors, how much time do you think we have?
The Swedes are gathering at our northern border. They will strike. Ere the snow swells down from its mountain eyries.
Can you send word to Beowulf to return to us quickly?
I've already written a letter, and the messenger leaves tomorrow.
Ah, here comes a covey of my loved ones.
Good morning, Mother. Good morning, Father.
You're with a fine group of maids today, Hardred. What is the occasion?
I have been instructing them in the art of bird calling.
Of a certain, how interesting.
I was the one who requested Hardred's assistance.
Conradith is an apt student, despite her age.
Well, thank you, kind prince, for your noble assessment of me, even if I beg to differ of my being old and doddering.
It is my cousin's insatiable desire for knowledge that has prompted her to seek out those who might assist her in her pursuits.
Always in a quest of facts of one sort or another. Is that so, my niece?
My lady, as women have not the equal physical strength of men, we must develop a mental prowess instead.
Does that make men intellectual misfits?
Not at all, my lord. A man's mind may be as keen as a woman's, but a man carries the potential advantage of both mind acuity and physical might.
Well, I might add, my lord and lady, that women do carry the advantage of beauty.
That cannot be denied.
And I would insert that women have a certain grace about them that I have not observed in many men.
Oh ho, the pupils of my esteemed niece speak also. And what would you add, Runolf the Fair?
Tenderness. A woman's soul dwells in the land of gentleness, whereas men are less...
Considerate? Ah, now I'm dismayed.
Nay, sire, I did not mean that.
Stay your concern, I only jest with you.
But Runolf has the way with it. If women were to run the wars, few battles would be won.
Because of our bent towards compassion.
Your tendency, Anve, may be to err on the side of pity, but I would mete out justice.
Ilana, my sister, forget not that there is power in mercy.
Come, let us not continue to philosophize. We will save this for our discussions later. I come before the king with a purpose.
State your intention.
My brother Beowulf tarries longer in the land of the Danes than he planned. Upon his departing, he told me to look for his coming soon. Otherwise, he would be the slain and not the slayer, with the swamp demon Grendel.
Word has reached us that the accursed monster is dead at the hands of Beowulf. However, I do not know why Beowulf delays his return. Thus, I am sending a messenger to him.
Uncle, would you also allow me to send a letter along?
I'm sure he would welcome your correspondence.
Thank you, sire.
Runolf, would his second cousin also like to send a note?
Yes, my queen, if that would be allowed.
Ever has Beowulf had his eye on you, the prettiest maid in all of Jutland.
Ahem.
Notwithstanding the other charming ladies present.
Do not worry that you've harmed our feelings.
Speak for yourself.
I agree that Runolf is the most beautiful woman in all the land. As far as my prospects, we must wait and see.
You have always been practical, my dear.
And Ilana and Anve are not bereft of beauty. They will capture the hearts of fortunate men in a time soon enough.
Thank you, Conradith. You soothed over my unintentional stompings on the feelings of your fair cousins.
Forgive me for interrupting, but I must know. Is Beowulf wounded? Have we received word that he is? And that is why you write letters?
No word has reached us of any injuries.
Then he is safe.
I know not. I have heard nothing from Beowulf himself since his departure to fight the fiend Grendel.
So like my brother. Ever he was lax in sending word. He charges like a bull from one conflict to the next, without informing others of his intent.
Maybe he is not well.
More likely he's off on another adventure.
But it has been a long time.
Do not be troubled. Beowulf is strong. He will have survived.
Then I will continue to hope that he thrives.
As we all do.
Come, let us be about those letters. I have much I wish to say to my brother.
What is it, my son? You look troubled.
I am. I have heard you in the councils with the elders. Soon the Swedes will be upon us.
You were not supposed to hear those counsels.
Father, I am young yet and not able to march to war, but I would know what passes in our kingdom.
And so you should. Yes, the Swedes will be upon us as they again invade our land.
Husband, please do not burden his tender shoulders with matters of war.
Mother, how else am I to learn and grow? You cannot keep me an infant.
The boy is right.
But you will not allow him to march with you into this coming battle.
I will not, as admittedly his years are far too few. But the day is soon coming that you will fight at my side.
Gladly will I take up arms to defend our people. Let me increase the time that I spend with my weapons master, as it seems I will be called upon sooner than later.
Ah, Runolf, have you finished your letter?
I have. Would you convey it to the messenger for me?
I shall. As I have finished mine, I'm going to seek him directly. Ilana, Envy, have you come to help Runolf deliver her note? Or did you have some other purpose in mind?
Another purpose. We were passing by the stables and we overheard some of the warriors talking.
You are not here to pass on hearsay, are you?
What we have to tell is not rumor.
I beg your pardon, Ilana. Speak on.
The warriors are preparing to defend against an assault from King Onela.
The Swedish king?
Aye.
Why has this not reached my ears?
I do not think we were meant to know. As one of the soldiers said, the King Helak wanted to keep it quiet.
So like my uncle. He does not want fear to grow in the hearts of the people. The Swedes are a formidable enemy.
More the reason to alert the people. We will need help.
I do not believe we could repel an attack, even if all were summoned to arms.
Do you think this is why King Helak has sent word to Beowulf?
Undoubtedly. Come. Let us see what we can learn, and then let us see what we can do.
You'll have to be quick about it.
You ask much. Much you will have to pay.
I will make it worth your while. And you'll have to be quiet about what you're doing. Mention it to no one.
Who is that?
Some peasant.
He was unsavory looking. What did he want?
To bring some petition before the king.
Then why did he leave?
I took care of it.
You are not the king. You presume too much to act in his stead.
Who are you to correct me?
Isn't that obvious? There's only one heir to the throne, and it isn't you.
Unless some unfortunate accident happens to you and your squeaky little brother.
Don't you think threatening me is a little dangerous, Hrothulf? I have the full weight of my father behind me.
That old man is one step away from the funeral pyre.
Do not insult the king of this land.
Then I will insult his measly whelp instead. You have ever been worthless!
You're a bully! Shut up!
You would do well to watch your step.
You would do well to watch yours. You remember that missing golden hilt? I happen to know who has it, and they haven't much love for you.
What threat is the hilt of a blade, the hilt of a sword that has no blade?
I've seen it with a blade.
You lie.
Maybe. Maybe not. I've told you before and I'll tell you again. Watch your back, cousin.
Nice kick.
He deserved it.
Come, I'm going to speak to Father about this.
But Hrothulf will call you a tattletale.
There's a difference between tale-bearing and warning the king of potential trouble.
I don't know. Hrothulf isn't that smart, is he?
He is a threat, and we must be ready for him.
Well, you won't have to go far to find Father. Here he comes.
Ah, my sons. What are you about this fine morning?
We have just had a conflict with Hrothulf.
A conflict? You mean one of your sparring matches?
Nay. Hrothulf has told me things that you must know.
An argument, then? You know your cousin well enough, Hrethric. He's trying to aggravate you, I am sure.
My gentle mother, long have you protected Hrothulf and made excuses for his behavior, but he is not what you think him.
Please explain.
Hrothulf is bragging he knows who stole the Golden Hill.
I thought you didn't want to carry tales.
Well, you decided to tell them anyway, so I wanted to be the one to say the news.
What are you whispering? Hrethric, Hrothmund.
Nothing more than a brotherly rivalry on who's to tell the tidings.
What tidings?
Hrothulf says he knows where the hilt is and has seen a new blade forged upon it.
If he knows that, he will know the location of the thief.
Father, I believe Hrothulf is the thief.
Be cautious of false accusations.
I am, dear mother, and ever will be. Hrothulf has dogged my steps since I was young, constantly taunting, bragging, and not being particularly wise about what he says and doesn't say. I've come to know him well, and I fear we are all in danger.
From Hrothulf?
Aye, my lord.
But he has no support. All here are loyal to my throne.
I believe he will seek help from our enemies outside the kingdom.
But we are at peace. With whom would he ally himself?
The Heathobards?
But your sister is married to their king. There will be no trouble.
We need to take further counsel. Seek out Beowulf. He is preparing to leave. Bid him to attend me.
Aye, my lord.
Why do you think the Heathobards would listen to Hrothulf?
Hrothulf is sly. He will probably make some promise of fealty to help put him on the throne, albeit his assurances to them would surely be false.
King Ingeld has always coveted our lands. The danger I had thought was mitigated when we arranged the marriage of Freyawaru to their sovereign.
I fear even my sister's charms would not be enough to halt the greed of Ingeld.
My heart is distressed. Freyawaru may be in danger.
I do not believe Freyawaru will come to any harm, except to hurt to her heart if her husband turns against her family.
Is there anything that can be done?
We will do all that we can. Ah, here is Beowulf.
Greetings, King Hrothgar. Our final greetings have already been given, and we are ready to depart. However, Wulfgar has called me back. Have I forgotten something in my eagerness to return to my homeland?
Beowulf. Hrethric has come to me and warned me that my nephew Hrothulf is scheming to take the throne.
Well, I can well believe Hrothulf is of the character to attempt such treachery. I do not believe he has the strength of arms to defeat you.
He is waiting until my father dies. Long has he plotted this. I would ask your assistance, Beowulf, in settling the situation ere you depart.
I have raised Hrothulf as one of my own, ever since his father and mother died. I dare not believe he is so deviant as to attempt such a betrayal.
My mother has long had sympathy for Hrothulf.
My lady, the hope of finding good in one often clouds the mind as to reality. From my first meeting with your nephew, I have questioned his integrity of character.
Then what have I done wrong? Surely I have stepped amiss in the raising of this boy. May God forgive me.
Do not be distressed. Wife of my youth and love of my old age, together we have erred in the rearing of Hrothulf.
Pardon me, my lord and lady. I would be bold. Despite my relatively few years, compared to the days of wisdom that the throne of this rich kingdom has bestowed upon you, I have observed that the manner of a person is set from birth.
Then we are all doomed to whatever fate our personality brings us?
Nay, my lady. Our character is with us from our childhood, but what we do with it is solely dependent upon our response, not our circumstance.
Yet the way one is reared will influence our response.
Aye, indeed. Yet again, the inborn nature of the person is the determining factor of the actions.
I agree with him, Mother. Consider that you and Father have raised the three of us in a like manner.
You state this correctly.
Yet each the three of us has responded to the same treatment in thricely different ways. I would like to think that I react with equanimity, although I do admit I continually have to work on being even with my temper. Harathman, on the other hand, is bent towards, well, let's just say...
Bent towards what? Go ahead, spit it out.
You're plucky, at least when you're paying attention.
Be kind to Rethric.
He has the way of it. He knows his brother.
Then there is Hrothulf. Since we were small boys, he has always sought the way around the rules. At times when I would point out that he might consider that he should be in error, he would listen and amend his ways. But then at other moments, he'd get that rebellious gleam in his eye and continue on with his mischief.
I believe we all have a choice. Work with what we are given to wrought good, or allow ourselves to be corrupted and create chaos.
I see that besides being a mighty warrior, you are a philosopher. If this discourse has comforted the heart of the queen, then I am well rewarded. But speak now of thine intent, Beowulf. Will you remain for a time longer in the land of the Danes? I am at the end of my days. The great gift-giver has numbered my hours. Rethric will need assistance if all comes to pass that he fears from the hand of Hrothulf.
Father, please don't talk about dying.
I must. My candle burns dim even now.
But you can't die. We need you. I need you.
Hrothmund, as much as I would desire to live to see you full grown into the great warrior you will become, I will not be able to tarry. I have fulfilled my purpose on this soil. I must travel to otherworldly places soon.
But Rethric will not be able to...
Rethric will be able to take my place. The task set before him at my passing will temper him into a fine blade that will rule our land justly and well.
Will you pledge yourself to my cause?
I am torn. Twice I have come to the aid of you, my noble friends. But listen now to my tale. I have just received a written message from my liege lord, King Hygelac of the Geats. War threatens on our northern border. The Swedes have vowed revenge. I am bid to make haste and come to my king's aid.
Revenge? What has Hygelac done to stir that nest?
Not Hygelac, but his brother Hathkin. In his arrogance, he attacked the fierce Swedes. He captured their elderly queen and made her bereft of her gold rings.
I have heard of this battle.
The return blow was quickly struck by Ogenthiau, the old and terrible king of the Swedes. He felled Hathkin, the Sea King, and saved his own aged wife, though he could not recover the gold rings. The Swedish king swept hard upon the heels of the Geats and drove them, leaderless, in a desperate rout into Ravenswood. His army surrounded the weary remnant, and they nursed their wounds.
Your kinsmen were outnumbered, were they not?
Aye. Doom was upon them.
But you were there, weren't you? You beat them all, didn't you?
Nay, Hrothmund, I was not there. I was too young to march a battle, of a similar age to your own.
Then the Geats were all killed, weren't they?
Nay. For at first light, when the spirits of my brethren were at their lowest, relief arrived. The enemy heard the sound of Hygelac's horn, his trumpet calling as he came to find them. The hero in pursuit, at hand, with the troops.
So Hygelac and his men killed all the Swedes!
Aye, that they did. You have a warrior hero in the making here.
Ever he has been keen for battle, even from his most tender years.
Beowulf, please tell the rest of the story. I must know the ending.
As you wish, young prince. Ogenthiau made his move, pulled back, and barred his people in. He withdrew to higher ground. Hygelac's pride and prowess were known to the king. He had no confidence that he could hold out against that horde of men, defend his wife, and the ones he loved from the shock of the attack. And so the Swedish king retreated for shelter behind the earth wall. But Helac swooped on the Swedes at bay. His Zeat forces drove forward and destroyed the enemy camp. And there, in his gray hairs, Augentheow was cornered and ringed about with swords.
And there, the old king was slain!
Aye, that he was.
So where now lies the threat?
Augentheow had 2 sons, Octera and Onela. Octera perished in the same battle as his father, but Onela made a safe retreat back to his own lands.
So it is Onela seeking revenge for his father and brother's death.
Aye. Onela has always been a threat. However, the Swedish army was so weakened during the battle with Helac that peril had seemed far in the future.
How imminent is the danger? Have you time to help us here, then attend your king?
My sister, the wise Conradith, has also included a letter. In it, she urged me not to delay, for the menace is upon them.
Then go you must.
Indeed. You must part immediately. God in his wisdom will care for us.
Don't carry that with you. It's too cumbersome.
I do not believe so. I think it will provide special protection.
What are you talking about?
This blade has magic forged in it, but I haven't had the opportunity to test it.
Who forged the blade for you?
Ungoth?
Ungoth? That smithy that Hrothgar banished from the kingdom?
The same.
Then the king has pardoned him?
Oh, he is still forbidden to abide on Danish soils, but there are ways around that.
He betrayed us. He was sent away because he betrayed us to the Heathobards. Thus the need to marry the princess Freyararud to Ingeld.
Ungoth was not guilty.
He's a traitor.
He was threatened and had to comply lest his family be killed.
All he had to do was bring this information to King Hrothgar's attention and his family would have been protected.
He was afraid of Hrothgar.
Why? Hrothgar is a generous king.
I cannot say.
No, you choose not to say. I can see that Ungoth has something to hide.
I did not say that.
No, but your silence did. He used dark ways to forge the steel, didn't he?
What if he did? It works.
You don't know that.
Perhaps I do. He's made other blades in the past that wrought death and terror when the odds were against its bearer.
All right, take the sword, but I don't like it.
I might point out, Unferth, that your desire for the treasure hoard in the cave of the Sea Hag is no more honorable than the actions of Ungoth.
I have never betrayed my country or my king. I may at times question the king's decisions, but diving to an underground cave to seek treasure is not outside of the law.
You're not supposed to know about the hoard.
I can't help it that the king spoke with Beowulf in my hearing.
Your hearing? You eavesdropped.
They could have easily conducted their discussion of the hidden trove in a less public place. Now, are we agreed together to seek the treasure and divide the spoil evenly? Or should I leave without you?
I'm coming with you. I need that half of the treasure. I have a project underfoot that will require quite a sum.
What possible endeavor are you attempting that could cost so much? You aspire too high.
We shall see.